Yo, look, have you ever done something so nice, been so kind, been generous to the point where people was like for real, bro? Like, are you serious right now? Well, I have. And that's why I call this message Waterboard Somebody. Not because God wants you to actually drown somebody. That's not what I'm saying. But God actually wants to drench you with a blessing. And look, if I'm going to drown, it should be an overflow, right? Look, I'm going to paint this picture a little clearly for you. In Proverbs chapter 11, verse 25, the word says, the liberal soul shall be made fat, and he that watereth shall be watered himself also. So in plain English, generosity is not a donation. It's actually a declaration of trust. See, when you give, you're saying, God, I trust you will refill what I just poured out. See, Israel understood this. Their whole system was built on community. They cared for one another because God told them to. See, other nations live by power order. The strong ruled and the weak served. Sound familiar? Yeah. But God's people live by moral order. That's where mercy and fairness and compassion weren't suggestions. It was actually the law. See, generosity wasn't optional. It was actually their identity. Kind of like Big Mama on Thanksgiving, got food for everybody laid out. But not only that, she's sending plates home with people. Matter of fact, people that ain't bring nothing, ain't bring a fork. That's the heart of God right there. See, God doesn't measure generosity by how much you give. He measures it by how much love you pour out. See, that was the difference between Cain and Abel. They had the same offering moment, but they had different heart postures. See, when you live open-handed, God keeps refilling your hands. But if you close them, you get it? See, God gives a promise. He says that he that watereth shall water himself also. In a dry place, water meant survival. To give water was to give life. So when you refresh other people, God makes sure you get refreshed. The book of Luke chapter 6 and verse 38 says it like this. Give and it'll come back to you. Good measure, pressed down, shaken together, and running over. Y'all done heard that verse, right? But here's where most people miss it. We think keeping everything will make us secure. But nah. Sometimes keeping everything is what dries us out. See, farmers back in the day, when they hoarded and kept crops and kept grain for themselves, it caused other people to starve. And today, when we hoard and keep our time and our compassion and our resources to ourselves, we do the same thing. We starve our communities. See, some people, we treat blessings like Wi-Fi. We don't want to share the password with nobody. But God's generosity was never meant to be password protected. Now, while I was studying this, something hit me kind of hard. See, in Deuteronomy chapter 15, God told his people to release debts and set servants free after a certain period of time. And that made me stop and think, was slavery in and of itself outside of God's will? Or was it the mistreatment, the beatings, the greed and the disrespect that broke God's heart? I know that's what breaks our heart when we think about it. See, in God's original design, servanthood wasn't about ownership. It was about restoration. If someone fell into debt, they worked it off. But they weren't property, they were people. See, it was a system of mercy, not a lifetime of misery. And honestly, we're still living in a modern version of that. See, we may not have chains, but we still move like slaves sometimes, jumping from one plantation to another, working jobs we hate just to survive. Trading peace for paychecks and freedom for frustration. See, yeah, we're free, but only on paper. See, that's just food for thought, though. It's a whole nother lesson for another day. But let me tell you what really bothers me right now. In our nation, some of that same power order thinking is still running things. See, the government just cut SNAP benefits, food assistance for millions of low-income families. And you can feel it in the grocery stores, in the classrooms, and in the communities. See, parents are struggling to stretch meals, and kids are eating less at home. And while politicians debate numbers, real people are living the consequences. That's what happens when nations drift from moral order to power order. When we protect systems instead of souls. But here's the good news. When we walk in God's order, we don't wait on the government. We become the blessing. When we give freely, we break free from the mindset of control. We stop serving money and we start serving meaning. See, because in man's system, saving means keeping, hoarding to ourselves. But in God's system, saving means sowing. See, Jesus sold his life and he gained the world. So here's the challenge for the week. Give intentionally. Don't wait for the perfect moment. Give joyfully, not from guilt, but from gratitude. Give consistently. Even small drops can water a desert, right? And give broadly to your church, to your family, your community. And give spiritually, because prayer, encouragement, and forgiveness are gifts too. So listen, generosity isn't about money. It's about mindset. It's not loss. Look at it as overflow. And it's not optional, because that's who God is. And when you live generously, you live like him. So go ahead, waterboard somebody this week and watch how God pours it right back on you, drenching you with blessing. Till next time, peace and love, grace, growth, and glory. I'm out. Don't forget to subscribe. G3 on YouTube. G3 Ministry channel. Peace.